What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James, talking to you today about some of the recent crypto news. The crypto market is up a whopping 0.44% over the past 24 hours. I'm going to get into the news in a sec, but as always, I update the spreadsheet. These are the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel that I thought would crush it in the cycle. I'd invested $100 into each one when I released the videos, and you were holding those bags. You'd be in profit for 67.6k. Add in the 2,600 you invested, you'd just be over 70 grand. I've held them all and I've closed positions on them all, and I've reinvested into new cryptos. If you want to see what I'm in, you can check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share my portfolio, one that's outperforming the market. Biggest holdings have had some explosive gains, as well as the overall portfolio having some really good wins recently. If you want to be a part of that, you can check it out. It's something I keep banging on about as well, which is bank profits along the way during the cycle. The amount of people that do not bank profits, it's going to kill you. When the bear cycle comes, it'll be a 70% correction. It'll be brutal. Bank along the way and stay in the bear market. You can make your investments staggered over a year and a half, 2 years, and those investments could be life-changing. I found Phantom in the bear cycle. That's up 412 times in value. So $1,000 investment, even staggered over like 25 weeks, would have netted you a profit of like 412 grand. That's a house. And all I do during the bear cycle is find those coins that are hugely undervalued, and I'll be sharing them with Copy My Crypto members. So if you want to be a part of it, you can check it out. Right, the market actually ran really well for a good chunk of time yesterday. Bitcoin ran up to like 58k again. Ethereum is still holding pretty good ground. Generally, the market was pretty positive. Obviously, over during the night, it retraced a little bit. There's not been too much dramatic movements. If we have a look at the top movers, Shiba, big moves. And to be fair, Stacks and Tezos and Horizon have moved pretty well. But mostly 1-digit percent moves. So a lot of people are, well, we're coming up to a crunch month, really. December's an important month. I do expect, one thing I do expect is that we'll see retracements around Christmas. We always do. We're not going to see all-time highs. People aren't going to be, a lot less people are going to be trading on bloody Christmas Day. I expect the market will dip around then, but how it runs up till Christmas is going to be pretty important. And one key thing that's always going to impact crypto is inflation. Inflation is risen globally. The US is actually seeing one of the biggest increases. It's up 6.2%, I believe, in the month of October. They've actually been terribly hit by inflation. And you've got to actually ask the question, why has that happened? What's happened because of money printing? We've seen it. You can't put in $1.75 trillion here, $1.9 trillion here into people's pockets and not have inflation and that not impact inflation. Now, fundamentally, the problem with inflation is it devalues the national currency. And you got to bear in mind as well, the US dollar is pretty much is the currency that everything goes by around the world. US dollar has weakened over time. It has, to be fair, strengthened in the last month or so, but fundamentally there are always hedges against the dollar, and as inflation increases and the dollar is less powerful, one hedge against inflation will be Bitcoin. Another is gold. Another is real estate investment portfolios. There's lots of hedges against a fiat currency that's becoming devalued. But Bitcoin, make no mistake about it, has in the past year or so, since May, we saw it start moving. May of last year, and since then, it's pretty like when you look at coverage of it in wider media, and you look at coverage by economists, a lot identify Bitcoin as a good hedge against the dollar. It certainly has a long-term prospect, because we're going to have we have a cyclical market, so it'll hit bear cycles. case in point, MicroStrategy continued to buy. I think they bought another 7,000 Bitcoin. And the big money whales that have been buying Bitcoin are doing it with a long-term goal in mind. They're certainly seeing moves coming in the short term as well, no doubt about it, but their long-term philosophy on Bitcoin is it will hit $500,000 or $1 million. The time frame for that is the only variable in their heads. So as inflation continues to rise, we'll see more money trickling into the crypto markets. And there's been a couple of interesting articles. So one actually, following on from that then. So we had a short-term correction, right? So key data points are suggesting that the crypto market short-term correction is over. Bitcoin is obviously still below 60K. And Ethereum is still below 5K, and ETH, we're expecting, I think a lot of people have been expecting ETH to break 5K for a while. So sort of when is the question really. Metaverse tokens have been pushing higher and higher and higher, as always. Ethereum killers limp along. They've actually been some of the worst performers as of late. Again, I friggin' hate this term, Ethereum killers, but they've been some of the worst performers as of late. Cardano, Near, Protocol, Polkadot, and Harmony have been struggling to break out. And while we're seeing, realistically, some pretty interesting stuff coming out in Metaverse and NFT space at the moment, and there is no doubt about it. The rally last night has put some positive sentiment back into the market. I do think we'll end up seeing the market break out fairly soon, whether it's crypto, whether it's Bitcoin breaking through 60 and then starting rallying. If Bitcoin starts breaking up, obviously Bitcoin's dominance will increase, and then it will probably take a little bit of a stagnation for Bitcoin before the alts run wild again. The continued talk about Metaverse is interesting. I like the Metaverse games. The Metaverse concept is one that people struggle to wrap their heads around, but fundamentally, what's going to happen in our lifetimes is people are going to be in jobs, in offices, and they're going to be meeting other colleagues from different companies or whatever in a metaverse, and in a coffee shop or in an office within a metaverse, having a meeting. That's the state that we're going to be at down the line. What does that do for society is a wider question. For me personally, I think it just ends up pushing people to work more, because it starts off with, we're working in such a unique way, and then you realize you're working constant hours because you're spending your life on a metaverse, and that concerns me from a societal standpoint. But from an investment standpoint, you've got to acknowledge that metaverse is going to be something that I think is integrated in almost all of our lives in 10 years, maybe less. Zuckerberg sees it. That's why he's already rebranded the company, But yeah, the performance of cryptocurrencies, like I said, it's been pretty down. But altcoins are definitely having a decent rally right now. And this correction looks like it's going to end fairly soon. The indicators, 99% reading is neutral to bearish, signaling weak demand from cryptocurrency traders to convert cash into stablecoins, but it's still a vast improvement from the 5% discount in mid-October. Cryptocurrency futures open interest held steady near 50 billion, which is 10% below the all-time high. It's worth noting that open interest decrease is not necessarily bearish, but maintaining a certain level is interesting because more liquidity providers and market makers enter the market. While the above data doesn't sound exciting, considering that Bitcoin and ETH are both strong on yesterday, the rebound from the previous day might indicate that the 2-week correction period could be over. I do think we're probably at that point now. But another piece of really big news and I genuinely like this as a piece of news, is City Veteran has launched a $1.5 billion crypto fund with Algorand as a strategic partner. Now, Algorand, if you're unfamiliar, is like a self-sustaining blockchain. It's phenomenal. And the fund's going to include a play-to-earn gaming arm that will be headed by former Goldman Sachs analyst Sam Purfoy. I can never say that surname. Who is known as Das Capitalist. So it's going to be founded by former City exec Matt Zhang. He announced the 1.5 billion fund as part of the fund launch. Hivemind has selected Layer 1 blockchain Algorand as the partner. So investment areas of interest include crypto infrastructure, blockchain protocols, open interest, programmable money, and virtual worlds. Like I said, virtual worlds is going to be a way of life. Programmable money, inevitable. Blockchain and crypto infrastructure, you've got to have your layer ones, right? Or even your layer twos. But this is a fairly big move. Again, lately we've seen a few crypto funds knocking about. So earlier this month, Paradigm, the firm launched by Coinbase co-founder Fred Ursum and former Sequoia partner Matt Huang, announced a $2.5 billion crypto fund. That tops the 2.2 billion investment fund announced by Andreessen Horowitz in June as the largest fund in the crypto industry. So just there, you look at 4.7 plus the 1.5 here, so you're looking at 6.2 billion in crypto funds from just 3 places. It's a matter of time before we see more and more and more of these. Venture capital firms have realized they're missing out on gains. They're also missing out because fundamentally people that want or are invested in these firms want to have some exposure to crypto, and not just Bitcoin, not just Ethereum, but they want a wider array. So now venture capital firms have to start looking into what is the next thing, what's the next step. And as you can see, open internet, virtual worlds, definitely 2 things that we're gonna see growth in over the coming 5, 10 years. Programmable money is an interesting one, because unless it's the infrastructure behind a CBDC, I think it's something that's programmable money is going to have a big job to do once CBDC comes out. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, so inflation will push the market forward as always. Looks like the correction's over according to data points, and another over $1 billion fund. And remember as well, there was also the Australian, what's it called, retirement fund. I think it was Super Rest, but they've got like $4.6 billion worth of assets, and they're entering crypto. Now they're not going to put 100% of the assets in crypto, obviously, but even 1%, you're still looking at $46 billion worth of assets. So 1%, that's still another $500 million, about 460 million. Just keeps ticking in. Smart money keeps moving. And that's it for me, really. Just a quick news update on Shiba Inu. Absolutely crushing it. It may be Shiba today actually takes over Doge. That would be a hell of a moment. Doge has been #1 meme coin forever. So Shiba taking over it could be big. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you're all keeping well. If you're new to crypto, you can check out Copy My Cryptos, where I share my portfolio, one that keeps outperforming the market. My biggest holdings have had some explosive gains and will continue to do so. And we've had some really good wins in the recent few weeks. So if you want to be part of it, you can check it out. But I do reiterate, bank your profits along the way, guys. If you are new to crypto, you do need to understand this bull cycle doesn't last forever. Bank profits, you sleep better. Trust me. Not financial advice. And then stay in the market. When everything's down, everything's on discount. It's an opportunity to stagger investment for 1.5 years, 2 years. You don't have to go ape in, and you can make investments that will set you up for life. All I do during the bear cycle is find those coins, and I'll share them with Copy My Crypto members. So again, if you want to be part of it, you can check it out. Right, take care, guys. Bye bye.